This is a Shogun 2 ranked battle where I'm playing with my gun general. He isn't much of a gun general yet. Only gave him some accuracy, reload, and the gun, of course. I have 2 Yari key, 4 red bears. That's it. Looks like my opponent is outmatching me in terms of line infantry because he has 2 black tortoise vanilla, imperial infantry, 1 white tiger and 1 black tortoise. His general also looks quite beastly. This guy that I played had quite a few more stars than me attached to his name, so I assume that means he's been playing for quite some time. I'm going to rush down here and capture the farmhouse early to give my cavalry a bit of a speed and stamina boost. Then I dismounted my units a bit too early because all of the cavalry hadn't made it up on the hill, unfortunately, which meant that they dismounted on the horses somewhere down here as well. So I just want to try to capture the dojo before he pushes up, but he's being very aggressive. So I'm going to go back on the horses, which isn't really as easy as I'd like it to, because these guys have to run all the way back to find their horses. The horses are very nice in that they haven't run away, so well-trained horses. Staying behind the building to avoid getting shot to pieces by this black tortoise and this black tortoise. My opponent's going to close off the lines of approach here for me, so I'm going to try to move up and see where I can get line of sight on his units. I can see some of the unit here, but not really a whole lot. So I'm going to try to create a defensive position in the forest here. But I took a volley there, and I don't want to take this engagement, so I'm just pulling back before I lose too many of my red bears. He did use flogging officer against me, so my morale is reduced. I just want to avoid that he takes the shrine and avoid getting shot up too much. Because I believe he had 5 or 6 line infantry, which could be... I have to use my Yari cavalry to great effect, which suits me fine. I really like having the Yari key. Great units. It gives the game a bit more... gives me a bit more... a few more options. Like, my opponent can't really contend with me down here, so I got the farmhouse. It can be argued whether getting the farmhouse is important or not, but it's definitely nice to have it since I got it for free. Sending my Yari key down here to see if I can find an angle of approach for my enemy, but also to stop him from making a too aggressive push here with all of his units, so he has to defend his rear with some units. So I'm moving up this red bear. It's very tired because it's been running for quite some time. This unit is winded, so running up the hill definitely fatigued my units. These guys are active because my opponent has been resting them for quite some time, but now they're dropping to tired, so they're regaining their stamina. Basically, I just want to move my Yari key around to give my opponent something to look at, and also to scout a bit to see if there are any hidden units. And nothing really happening here, it's just a standoff between our forces. I have a nice position up here on the hill, but I'm out of range. My opponent also can't fire at me, but when the engagement starts I should be able to push this red bear down and get some really nice shots downhill on my opponent. And he's starting to do what I want here. He's starting to mirror my Yari key with his black tortoise. And not really a great line of sight here. He had a unit, his Imperial infantry was in the forest here, getting some shots off on my red bears, so I'll just put the red bears out of range. The Yari key, these black tortoises are getting very close to my Yari key. I definitely don't want to eat a volley from those guys. I'm going to start moving down a bit, try to just stay out of range of his Imperial infantry. And my opponent doesn't want to push, obviously, here. I made it to the dojo just before him. You can see we both have units standing slight inside of the circle around the shrine. So we're both contending the shrine at the moment. Moving my Yari key up here to see if I can do anything with it on the hill here. Perhaps go down here and back up for some rear charges, but he has protected his lines of approach very well. So I'm going to just go wide with my Yari key, and looks like these guys have very good stamina, only active. They've been running for quite some time. If I can just rest them a bit, then they should be able to keep this up for a long time. Now I am going to try to move up slowly, get line of sight here. I don't know why they're not able to fire at these guys, but they're apparently not. So I'm moving back and forth a bit to see how my opponent reacts to it. It looks like he's content to stay still here and just block my approach. Following my Yari key here with his black tortoise force. And now I'm getting some nice shots off with my red bears. His black tortoise dropped significantly from that volley. They haven't been able to fire yet. I'm losing some ammo to just firing at the hill, but since I managed to kill so many, yeah, this black tortoise force is getting absolutely wrecked by the red bears, and the red bears aren't really taking many casualties here. So this is really good for me. And for some reason, these guys have decided to start firing. And now the black tortoise is getting absolutely creamed. I'm getting fired on by the Imperial Guard infantry, and my general is also getting shot here, so I have to get him away. A bit, I'm not really used to how the guns work just yet. Looks like he used some... Did he use an ability now? Yeah, he rallied his men to stop these guys from routing, but they routed anyway. So here I'm able to get into his black tortoise, and this is why I love having a few Yari key available. Just rushing in and breaking units like this, getting so many kills on the charge. This black tortoise is basically out of the combat now. It just broke from a cavalry charge. The second unit comes in and finishes it. And at this point my opponent calls GG actually. His Imperial infantry doing well against my red bears up here, but not really a cost efficient trade for them. These guys not taking a whole lot of damage, but my guys are definitely trading better in that engagement. Now I have my 2 units of Yari key free to go for rear charges if I want. I'm also firing at his general, getting some really nice shots in against him. So he has to move his general. I can get some shots off of his white tigers now. Rushing the very fast Yari key around, charging into the white tigers before they have time to reform their lines. So they are going to get some shots off, but they're also going to get attacked in the rear. So this is it for the white tiger force. The Imperial infantry is heroically holding on here, but there's not much my opponent can do at this point. He's getting his units surrounded, shot to pieces. His black tortoise are routing off the field, and now there's no real threat for me left on the battlefield. So I could pour fire into the Imperial infantry from several angles and rush my Yari key around to get at his general. I'm taking some fire here, but he isn't going to be able to stop this. The Imperial infantry getting shot to pieces from multiple angles. His general just dying so quickly to the Yari key. And when this general dies, his Imperial infantry shouldn't be able to hold for long. Just point blank range straight into the Imperial infantry. And that is a GG. So that is victory number 15 in a row in Shogun. Which I'm quite happy with. There have been so many battles that I think, well, okay, this guy really knows what he's doing. I'm not going to be able to pull this off. But it's such a great feeling when I'm able to find an opening and make something happen, like getting that one unit completely off the field with the Yari key in the beginning. Massive. Getting the dojo, important as well. So I definitely like, even though many people seem to favor the only line infantry builds, just having some cavalry gives you so much more mobility. So let's look at the stats. Yeah, Yari did well. Red Bears did okay. I had 4 line infantry. My opponent had 5 line infantry, but he didn't have any cavalry. He had this very, I mean, his general is very high ranked. I don't remember if he was, I think he was 10 silver, but I'm not entirely sure. So his general is much more expensive than mine. And I think these black tortoises and white tigers are worse than my red bears. The Imperial infantry is of course much better than the red bears, but that won't really help them when the rest of their supporting units start dying around them. So another very fun battle in Shogun 2. Having so much fun. I'm learning new things with each battle, making a ton of mistakes, but it doesn't really matter because I have a ton of fun doing it. And I hope you enjoy watching these Shogun 2 videos as well. I've been getting some nice feedback about it. There is still a lot of love in people's hearts for Shogun 2 and Fall of the Samurai, and it's really cool to see. And I'm really glad I decided to start playing this awesome game. Strength and honor.